As we move down to the start now of the Britannia Challenge Cup in the Bark Station at Southampton Coalporters ARC against Sydney Rowing Club from Australia. The Sydney Rowing Club has quite a long and proud history attending the Henley event. I think this is the 20th year that Sydney's been regularly attending. I think they've been to 19 out of the last 20 Henleys with some configuration of crews. They have two crews here, one in the Brit and one unfortunately knocked out yesterday in the Y-folds. But a big start there from the Sydney Rowing Club boys. Charlie Patterson in the stroke seat. Will O'Connell behind him. Michael Benarius and Alex Nichol.
And Mike won the Foley here back in 2011, so he knows the course. Now the three-man is probably the biggest person I've seen in the regatta at 16 and 4 stone.
Looking really strong here, Sydney Rowing Club. This is the top of their two crews that they've entered here, so certainly now with the other crew out in the Y-fold event, this is the event that they're looking to take home, the Britannia Challenge Cup.
And you basically have three 19-year-olds anchored around a 25-year-old cowl oarsman, who's the largest man.
Charlie Patterson and Will O'Connell in the stern end of the Sydney Rowing Club boat. Both old boys from St Joseph's College.
Meanwhile, we're worrying about Sydney. The Southampton Coalporters are staying relatively close.
Absolutely. It's certainly not over here.
No, that's their only entry. They're the oldest club in Southampton.
We can see a great shot there of the coxswain. That's Charlie Nicholas from the Newington College in Sydney. In the bow seat, Alex Nichol, also in his final year of school at Newington. In the two-seat there, that's Michael Benarius. Three-seat, Will O'Connell. In the stroke seat, Charlie Patterson. And we saw the cox four earlier on, and we're noting the differences in the rowing styles of the cox four versus the straight four. And Sean, if you're coaching a cox four, perhaps the rowers who hadn't had much experience in that event, what would you think are some of the main differences between the cox four and the straight four in terms of rowing style?
Well, I don't think there's any difference in rowing style. It's just a heavier boat. So you really need to make sure you're accelerating the power once you enter the water at the catch. And you really need to keep your length in a cox four because it gets heavy. You're looking at, 120-pound cox. So that's 30 pounds a man you're carrying that you're not in a straight four.
Yeah, and that extra weight really does tend to kill the boat run. Makes a lot heavier load by the time you get to the catch of each stroke to pick up. So it's important, I think, to keep the beat up and not let it get too heavy as well, because it is such a big load. By the time you get to the catch, if you're letting that rate really drop down too far, it becomes very, very taxing.
Very heavy on the legs. But Sydney's holding their lead.
I was talking to Will O'Connell's parents yesterday who are over here to watch him. He competed last year, but unfortunately was in the Sydney Rowing Club 8 that got disqualified on the first day, and his parents didn't arrive till the second day, and so they didn't actually get to watch him race at Henley last year. So they were a little nervous about this round, but here for day one of their campaign, this is their first race of the regatta, and it looks like they're going to get through to the next one. So his parents have now seen him race at Henley.
Well, that's quite a story. It's a long way from down under.
It sure is. As we mentioned earlier, 15 nations competing here, and one of the biggest Australian contingents certainly that I've seen in recent years, from many different clubs and universities competing at Henley in 2017.
Not to mention the Kiwi contingent, have the largest contingent in 4 or 5 years.
That's right. The last time we saw the Kiwi national team here was 2013, so Great to have them back. Got a great shot there of the coxswain of the Southampton Coalporters Rowing Club. That's Lisa Bedford.
Now the Coalporters should be used to a heavy boat. They originally started because they used to roll coal out to the steamships in the harbor of Southampton back in 1875.
And this crew here, they were 6th in the final of Tier 2 Cox 4s at the Marlow Regatta. It's their first time, as you mentioned, Sean, at Henley. And unfortunately, they're going to go out in today's round. The Sydney Rowing Club taking the win.
Fortunately for Sydney, they did not get disqualified, and the parents can enjoy the first race.